This is exactly what we needed to have happen.
I told you, dude, like, Brett don't miss. Like, holy crap. It all filled in right. It all looks right. Like, all your weld spatter's gone. I'm telling you, the one thing that I did not see coming was the Sharpie Sparkle Black having all the purple in it.
But it weighs a little more.
That actually looks good.
It looks pretty good.
It's pretty nasty that that's got that purple shade to it. Like,
Yeah.
I had no idea that was coming.
It's weird because you only catch it at like really
I know.
offset angles, but it comes in its purple. It's live. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm checking everything that came back from Powdercoat to look for anything that's imperfect. And then we're also trying to get this thing up on the side so we can really make sure that the panels are matching the color of the chassis and make sure we're not going to have any problems there. And there's talk of a possible wrap.
The panel. Oh, they just see what. And it's almost gonna blind you.
Yeah. I'll make a damn little bracket.
So right now, we picked up the buggy. I couldn't be really happier with how everything turned out as a whole.
Oh, I'm excited.
This thing is super cool. The colors are just right. So, yeah, you guys get to get it done.
So every time this chassis is spoken about, the seating position is always brought up. So the guys have the engine, the transmission, and the transfer case into this thing, as well as the 1480 carrier bearing kit. The seat mounts right here. And this is almost like a leg rest. Your leg sits right over this with a scatter shield in case there's a failure and you don't get injured. And the pedals are right up in that compartment. You sit alongside the drivetrain in this thing, which is what provides that rocket ship-like feel that other buggies just do not have, because you're sitting on top of the drivetrain versus sitting alongside it. Oh, with that freaking tail light in there.
Dude, tell me the contrast of the sparkle black, the matte black versus the purple didn't actually end up working out just perfect.
And that plaque turned out so good.
Rock bouncer with enough storage to actually carry stuff? Yeah, buddy. Grab by the puck. Spin straight up. Yeah.
Give it to me.
Up. Over top of that flange on top, Hunter.
Oh,
Buddy.
flat black. I love it. What is up? It's been a couple days now, but we are about to go check in with Jason Washburn to see where we're at on the purple rocket ship build. Super thrilled. It's been a long time coming. Let's go check it out. All right, I've been subbing back here. What do we have going on with this thing?
We're actually making some really good progress on getting this turnkey foot back together. Sam and some of the other guys have been throwing all kinds of parts at it. The more color we put back to it, the cooler this thing's turning out looking. It's just the differences in the powder coat versus, raw aluminums, alternators, the finish on a bump stop can, that bad winch, up in the front, the red that everybody knows when they see that red winch in the front, what's going on with that 90 RC. It's the premier choice of racers. What we're really getting into right now is we've got just about all the components on the buggy that are going to need to get plumbed and wired. Now we'll be changing kind of the gears from throwing parts at it to going through the intricacies of getting everything plumbed in, all the hoses routed where they need to go, and then wiring follows up directly behind that, of laying all the wiring harness in. And we've got all these neat sheets that lay out how the process of wiring and plumbing actually works. And it's really a neat thing that we did in the last couple of years is the customer actually gets these to go home with a full wiring schematic of their vehicle. So if they ever did have a problem or wanted to add something, change something, it's all laid out for them. Typically on LS motors and LT motors, we run a billet alternator conversion kit that we designed, and it gets the alternator up in here tucked off, and there's a huge billet mount that mounts off of the head, the cylinder head and everything, and it mounts your CBR pump from PSC down lower. With this LSA motor in the Rocketship chassis, the space is a real concern. Our shock mounting tube work and everything is much lower than you'll see in some of the other chassis for visibility purposes. What that does, when your engine cage comes in here to protect all this, you lose this spot right here where the alternator would naturally just want to fit. The other problem with it is you've got this huge 102 millimeter throttle body popping out of here, coming out of our Harrop Supercharger. All the space in the way the belt routing ended up getting changed. So what we did was pulled up the CAD models and made sure this motor was centered exactly where it needed to go in the chassis in the CAD model. And then we started locating components like our alternator, our PSC, CBR pump, all of our blower drive accessories that had to be in there for the tensioning and everything else. And this runs a 2-belt setup, because you have a standard 6-rib belt that runs all of your serpentine accessories, and then you've got an 8-rib on the blower that keeps them separated, so you don't got to worry about belt squeak. And once we got everything in CAD and we looked at it in person, kind of where it was located in CAD, we came back and started drawing out all the plate work that's in here that actually mounts the components, and designing the belt to where the belt maintains at least 180 degrees of wrap on every component. You'll see right here where it wraps around the alternator, full 180 degrees containment. You're actually getting about 270 degrees on the steering pump. You're getting 180 degrees on the crankshaft. You're getting 180 degrees on the water pump. This ensures you're not going to have a belt squeak, belt slip issue where you're going to end up losing drive to these components with this high horsepower, high revving motor. This is an iron block 6-liter. It does have the Harrop Supercharger, the LSA replacement, with an intercooler brick in it. Another really neat thing we tried to do with this was enhance the system over top of what a factory LSA does. We built this water tank that actually rides over here in the fender well that disappears once you get the body work on, that holds twice as much water as a factory LSA does. Tucked down in here, which I don't even know if you can see it, but there's a huge Mazier pump, electric water pump, tucked in underneath the electronics tray right there above the transmission that flows back. You have a full intercooler that does air to water back here to help cool the charge temperature down. All that so the motor can build clean horsepower without building a bunch of heat in the motor. We got a pretty big radiator back here with a 38 by 17.5 Griffin radiator. And then your other cooler up here is your transmission cooler, all about fighting the heat. And where the design comes in on that, your Spall fan back here, again, 2 big boy fans. When we built the heat shield into the fuel tank, it's actually sets on an angle and is designed to divert the hot air out and away before it gets to the shocks so we don't heat up our shock. This exhaust turned out killer. Again, 2-inch primary headers that go into a 3-inch merge collector, Y merge, back to a 3.5 full dump. It's all about making some noise and throwing down in the woods.
So here's the deal. Adam's getting all up on me because I really want to put graphics on this thing, but I don't really know how we're going to get there. I have some basic graphics designed off of Upwork, but they're not laid onto the car yet. So Adam's taking me up to Graphic Effects to see Barry, and it seems like a bad idea to me to not trust Adam. So I'm sure this will get us dialed in, but we're going to go check out what's going on. But yeah, I think just like that would be perfect. You get you know what the collar is, you see it, and then it breaks off. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Okay. I think that looks freaking sick.
Okay.
Yep. So what you're going to do is you're going to go in here, and we brought you a texture we like, but you're going to break it up. Mm-hmm. You're going to recolor it and retrofit it to be able to print properly on your machine.
Exactly. We're going to take what you gave us, and we're going to do the one side more or less exactly how you gave it to us, but then we're going to grayscale the other side. This side will have the purple lettering with the white dog and the white brawler with the big bold black outlines, or maybe even the purple like we talked about. Or then the other side we'll flip it and it'll be more black and white, you know, dark grays and cool stuff like that. but then like the brawler will be in the purple and the dog will be in the purple, and that way those two sides will be radically different but the same. You know what I mean? It's gonna be a pretty cool effect. Yeah, I'm cool with that.
I like that. I like that more than I do just the heavy black outline. What do you think?
Yep, I'm
What do
right.
you think,
I'm
Tyler?
game for that. I like it loud. I like it obnoxious. And
Yeah.
I didn't think you were going to like that. I like that.
Even like whenever you're looking in here, like I love an outline on a number. If you put just the text on something, which this does have a drop shadow anyway, the more you layer that to me, I'm down with it. Maybe
Cool.
I'm just old, but
No, I like it.
That's
I
the way a race
like
car is
that.
supposed to look.
that's the way a race car's supposed to be. Yeah.
Cool. No,
They're
I'm,
race car stuff.
I'm game for it. Where are we going to put the number 1 on this, since I'm always going to be winning?
That's right.
You got to win first.
Gotta earn that shit.
Yeah. Yeah. You're going to have to do something first. Yeah.
Adam, what I want you to take a look at is does this follow the lines of the buggy that you're seeing?
So this is your buggy.
Can you rotate the dog head? See, to me now, it looks like he's attacking the word. It's kind of what I think you wanted out of it anyways.
Coming at that. All
Yes.
right.
Being from a CAD background, like this is pretty wild what you're doing right here, because I'm watching it go on this grid and I'm watching this thing go down. That's pretty wild, Barry.
We cut an inch off of him anyway, and then
Oh, you just took... See, that looks better
we
anyway.
can actually come right here and do.
I would have never come up with that idea, Tyler. I would have never even thought this was possible. That's pretty awesome. See, to me, I don't care about the size or nothing else. That's the right orientation, is it looks like it's attacking kind of the brawler thing.
Yeah, I like the angle of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like...
that
I
thing's
see,
getting
now we're big.
And
See,
it's
I like...
getting big.
I like that a lot. There we go,
Yeah,
son.
you chopped
There
it
we
up.
go,
And
son.
that way it's not as
Oh,
white as it was.
my favorite part about the file storage thing is every time you have to go recreate something, you end up with a better product.
You do
Because
better.
this is a better product than what we were sitting on.
Look at this right here. Like that's
Sheesh.
yeah, Bub's like she. That I like.
Yeah, that
I
looks
didn't,
good.
I didn't see that coming. I
That
like
looks
that. Barry, you the man.
My man. Enjoyed it.
Always. I'm gonna call Tyler out because I told him to call my man Barry, and he's like, I
Well-
wish I could have this wrap like what's on
Well,
Ken Block's car, and I
in
love
his-
Blake Wilkie's wrap, and I'm like, well, call my dude.
in his defense, he's called me more times than I've called him back.
Well,
He
that
has
happens,
tried.
That happens. But no, this is when it all got started. He was
Yeah.
like, man, if I could just find somebody that did that rap, I was like,
Oh hell yeah,
I don't got to call somebody that did his rap. I can call somebody that does my raps because
bro.
dude, it's really cool to watch somebody whenever you can come in and
Yeah.
you actually like.
Yeah.
If we wanted something done, I don't know of anything we asked for just now that you couldn't actually go in and adjust and do.
In my defense, we did pull this off the Upwork.
Yeah.
We did. We did. Yeah. Barry couldn't have done that. No, ain't no way Barry could have done that part of it.
Y'all want it? I'll make it happen. That's how
it.
we do.
Cool. Thank you, buddy.
Y'all be good.
Now that looks a lot different than it did about an hour ago.
Yeah, we're on the downward swing now. I'm coming in here and putting a douche deck connector on, and with this having a boost gauge built into it that runs on manual, what we're doing is we ran the air line through it, and where our electrical connector pops in here, we're going to put a quick coupler, so when you go to try to take the dash in and out, you'll still be able to unplug an electrical connector, unplug your boost connector, and now you have a manual gauge in a sea of electronic gauges that you can still unplug and get your dash out for easy serviceability. We've been doing a lot of Holley Dash stuff here lately that is directly tied into the CAN bus to pick up how the gauges and everything read. On this build, we went back with like an analog style gauge, and we got these pretty carbon fiber ultralight series. We went with a 2 5/8 for better visibility, and basically we had this much space that we were trying to fill up, and when we catted it out with small gauges, you had way too much negative space in there, so we went ahead and popped for a little bit bigger gauge just to take up the space and make it look more aesthetically correct. cool thing you'll notice is on these, you have the option to use a spade connector or a ring terminal. And for heavy off-road use stuff, I try to use ring terminals on everything I do because it's got a positive bolt that's locking it down. You don't ever have to worry about these getting loose and getting corrosion and everything in it from having electrical resistance. Your gauges actually read just slightly more accurate. Probably not enough that anybody'd ever notice, but just good quality electrical connections. We've got our yellow top Optima mounted off in here. It's actually mounted in our wide open design battery box that's universal, and it has a bottom mount, a side mount, and an optional tray to mount to a tube. In this one, we actually have a vehicle-specific mount that gets welded in. The Rocketship has its own electronics package tray that gets mounted in here. It's a laser cut, press broke part, welds into the chassis, keeps everything where you can wire it out clean, don't have to worry about vibration. In this one, we've already got our Blue Sea fuse blocks in here. They use standard automotive fuses, which are easy to find pretty much anywhere you'd be needing to go. And the reason I love these so much, again, with off-road stuff, it's a ring terminal ready fuse block. This one right here is going to be our hot all the time fuse block. So it's got a 12 gang. This box here is a 6 gang box, and it'll be an ignition switched box via a relay. And it actually has 12 grounding ports built in. So you'll have an 8 gauge ground that runs back to the battery directly. And then you'll have this that runs through the relay and gets powered out. You'll end up with a bank of relays that runs right here that will control everything from fans to how the lights come on, how the ignition switch interacts with the Holley system to power the whole vehicle. We run Terminator X on, I'd say, about 95% of the builds that come out of here at this point. The controllability of that Holley system is incredible. You plug a laptop off into it and you can change pretty much everything. We also use a lot of the I/O system on it. We'll actually use the Holley through a temperature sensor built into the standard system to tell our fans when to turn on and when to turn off. And that'll have a low voltage output that will trigger a relay, and the relay will actually click the fans on and off, and we can control it down to the degree of when our fans come on and when they go off.
We're into plumbing on this thing right now. It looks like you're routing the hard lines with... What do you got going on?
So basically what we do with it's just aluminum TIG wire. We take that, we bend it up in the shape that we want. We use the same benders we use to do the line itself. But this gives us a good map for when we go to do the actual line. That way we're not wasting it. The TIG rod's a lot cheaper, pretty easy to work with. So this just gives us a good idea of how this is going to fit up, and I can show you. Just kind of snake this down in here. And again, it's giving us a good idea of how our brake line's going to lay out. I can pull this off and I can mark where my bends are. Mark where my bends are on my brake line, bend it up, match the angle that I have in the TIG wire, and then I wind up with this, which matches what I got here pretty well.
That's killer, man. Look at that. Wow.
So it saves you a lot of money. You're not wasting brake line. Saves you a bit of time.
And when you say TIG wire, you mean the same stuff we're welding with?
Yeah, this is just aluminum filler rod.
That's killer. So this is a bit of an impromptu shot. They got this freaking PRP alpha seat in here with the gator skin vinyl, and it looks sick. I mean, look at that with the purple chassis. That just looks sick.
Sam, the little trick is if you'll go ahead and put, whenever you're putting an axle underneath here to start off with, if you'll go on and put it underneath here with no misalignment spacers in it, you can get everything pretty much tightened up pretty close, and then come back and it's little jack movements that help you get all the misalignment spacers in. But it's just like, if not, you'll fight all day trying to really dead set it. You need to push it this way. Whoop. Pull it back to you a little bit there, bud. That's it. Now, pull it just a little bit your way. Oh, push it. Oh, now you're done. Now you can come in here and drop all the spacers in and we're lined up. And see how much quicker that went than like trying to fight it with them little spacers? Yeah.
How y'all feeling about the build?
We're really close.
Like I said, everything, well, mostly everything so far has gone together pretty easy.
Think we're gonna fire this thing tomorrow?
Do what?
I said, you think we're gonna fire this thing up tomorrow?
I hope so, for real. I'm excited to hear it run too. I mean, yeah, I hope so.
Oh, and you did the old school logo. Arr, that is sick.
Oh, yeah.
You're asking if I'm excited? I'm chilling.
Huh?
I'm chilling. I'm just shooting the video. Oh, that's plenty. That looks freaking beautiful, man.
Yeah, right there.
I mean, that is way more deer than I thought that would be. So why are we throwing graphics to come on up to the dash?
To me, it just finishes it all. Since I first saw this pattern, I loved it because I knew that we could let it drift off in the dash. That's the hardest thing about these custom wraps. We don't have a piece of glass to like you do on a car. So generally your glass is what breaks the wrap from the interior. We don't have that. So like, I think whenever he gets done mixing it, we're gonna really like it. If we don't, you tear it off.
Man, Barry checked out of here, but we've spent a ton of time looking at this wrap right now because this is everything I have ever dreamed of. Like when I came to you, I said, man, I want Ken Block graphics. I've always loved his cars. I love the way they look, and I didn't know how to do that. And we had played around. I had hired somebody to make the base graphics and make the vector images, but you took us to Barry.
Oh yeah, man. So it's kind of funny because like whenever I kept on telling you I had a guy, and then it was like you kept on telling me what you wanted, and I was like, yeah, I got a guy, and you still kept on like you didn't think my guy was the guy, but like Barry killed it. He always does. So,
and he knows what he's doing because he's a big into the drift community, and they wrap cars all the time.
Oh man, they do that. This is what they do. So this is, I mean, it's awesome working with him. He's a creative mind, but yeah. Enough about this wrap, enough about everything else. It's time we got to get it fired up and everything else. Get ready to go to PRI. The clock's ticking. So yeah, like next time you guys see this thing, it should be running and driving. Going into PRI, we hope.
It's a literal dream come true. Yeah. Like, that's it. That's all I have to say. And
all I got to say is we got work to do.
Yeah.
You done? Put that on camera.